Yo, and we are
Imperfect Gentlemen.
And you know what happened, right? The last male white rhino died. Bruh. Like,
that is
no
a
other
catastrophe.
male white rhinos because people
It's
need
a wrap?
trophies and rhino horns.
It's
That's
really
crazy.
a wrap for the rhinos?
It's a wrap, bro. It's a
Hold on,
wrap.
can we have a moment of silence, please? We got a vegan in the building.
I know.
Okay.
Cool. And then, of course, we have our lovely guests today in the building, the women who are going to make us better men.
Hi, it's Tess Trotter.
Alysa.
That was so I don't know why we always have one person just anticlimactic, like, Alysa.
I don't know. Am I supposed to give a full
Yo,
intro?
you heard GK Supreme?
You heard
GK Supreme?
I need to be aware. I need to prepare this the night before.
I
I would have created
Just
some
came
rough
in and
drafts.
like,
I would have practiced in the mirror.
That's what we're
you got
asking
put me on the
for.
spot
You
with
knew
my
you were
own
going to be
intro.
on today, but that's the thing. And just to have a little background on you two, you guys are. Tell us about you.
Yeah, we wanna-
pretend
yeah,
this
know
is a
about you.
Tinder date right now. We're about to swipe left on you. But Tess might
No,
still be in the
better
running.
yet, you're the stars of the show today. Tell us more about yourselves.
Okay, all right. Tomato.
Tell me a little about yourself. Okay, so elevator pitch. Grew up in SoCal, small town called Laverne, about 30 miles east of LA.
Oh, you're from Laverne?
Laverne, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's very small.
I'm sure no one, even women named Laverne, have never heard of that town.
It's
Like
very-
Laverne and Shirley have
near-
never heard of it.
Near Pomona, Claremont. Very
A bunch of
small.
other towns we've never heard of.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, very small community. And I've lived in LA for a couple of years. Right now, I just do freelance work. So I do like online marketing stuff, social media, and I also act.
Okay. From Montreal. This is my least favorite thing to do is to give a bio about
You know
myself.
what?
My
That's-
Tinder profile is empty.
But that's
you like the
maybe why.
picture
First
or
of all,
you
you have a
don't.
Tinder profile, so that's already a red flag. But here's the thing, maybe that's why they're static, because you're from Montreal. You're from the city. I'm not allowed in your country.
You're not allowed to go to Canada?
Oh no, not at all.
What'd you
He's
do?
also not allowed to interact with Montreal.
Yeah, it's a
do you
whole
mean?
thing.
Wait,
You
it's a
don't
Thing.
even
It's a thing.
long story.
Okay.
For real?
It's for real. It's for real. So besides being from Canada,
Being from Canada.
and having an empty Tinder, I want to say
Yeah.
being from Montreal, because when people say from Canada, Canada's huge. People forget how
Right.
huge it is. They all assume it's all in one like small tiny city.
And most people
They think
don't know
Toronto.
Montreal. Like I've actually met people in LA where I tell them I'm from Montreal. They're like, "What state is that?"
It's because Drake keeps talking about the six, and no one
Yeah.
takes time to study the rest of Canada.
He put the whole country on the map, and now it's just Toronto is above the U.S. and that's it.
Exactly. So, like, while we're on the subject of Montreal, what is
Yeah.
your favorite thing about Montreal compared to LA? What's that one thing you miss?
Honestly, as many restaurants as there are in LA, like you can't compare the food. The culture
Wow.
is on a different level over there. Like I think that people are like, rather than like fifth generation, they're like first generation. They open up restaurants, little cafes, whatever it is, and it's actually like authentic food.
Wow, it's like that's what I say because like I'm a huge foodie on Yelp.
Yeah.
And why is it that always the hole in the wall places have better food than these big commercial restaurants?
it.
Is it because, or the franchise and stuff? Is it simply because they put their money into the actual food and not the venue? I don't get it. What's going on here?
Well, it could be like the best is like the Italian grandmothers who opened up a hole in the
Yeah.
wall, and they're like cooking
Is
up the
that your
spaghetti and
background?
meatballs.
Is that your
Yeah.
background?
Italian and Lebanese.
Oh, that's your people.
Yeah, we're taking over.
You're full.
We're taking over. Yeah, I'm a Lebby.
Okay.
Lebby.
Have you been?
I've been once when I was younger. I'm supposed to go this summer for my cousin's wedding. But check it out. Like, once you live in California, I don't want to see the rest of the world no more.
I know.
I
It
like this.
completely diminished my desire to travel.
Yeah.
No.
I
It's
like
nice
this-
to see the rest of the world. It's just when people go, come here and have fun. I'm like, nigga, I live here. Like,
Yeah.
why would I go to Baghdad to have a good
Like,
time?
I was
Like,
at Poppy's with Tehran last night. Why do I need to travel? for
That's
a good
real, though.
time?
That's
It's
so real.
Well, I think it's different if you grow up here. Like I grew up here, so I feel like
You
you
wanna
still
leave.
have a desire to like go and see the world.
Yeah. And after a while, like the first couple years of being in LA, it was like honeymoon phase. And now I'm like, I could use like some European flavor, like just a
Yeah,
different
like a
mindset
little
where it's
break.
not 100% focused on like the entertainment business at all times.
Yeah.
It's like, put a little chill,
Yeah.
eat a croissant in France, like relax.
Come back, chill, then
yeah.
come-
So your journeys here, what attracted you to Los Angeles? I want to know one by one. What brought you here? We're here now. We're not in Laverne. We're not in Montreal. What brought you here?
It's easy. She lived in Laverne, my nigga. Like what brought her was the fact it's only like how you live in the middle of nowhere 20 miles away from everywhere.
Yeah, you can.
Like that's craziness.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
think
I'm
that
saying?
Laverne was a great place to grow up because it's very
Sure.
safe and like, you know, a lot of retired people live there. There's not much to do, so you really get to bond with your high school friends. But after that, I was like, you know what? Like, I knew I wanted to come back to California because I went to school in DC.
DC?
But I'm a SoCal girl.
You're
so
a
I
SoCal.
wanted to come back. Yeah.
All right. So for you, it was more so being in the general area where you're raised, just in a little more city environment.
That's why I like
Yeah, it's
you.
the best of
You
both
went to school in
worlds.
DC.
Yeah, she has that swag, culture.
I do love DC. I love DC.
She knows about DC. She knows about Georgetown.
I'm sure she knows about DC.
I
knows
know
about
you
my
were trying
town.
to tell me
Hey.
about like baked and wired cupcakes. I was like,
She's
yo,
like,
I went to school
"I've been
here.
going there."
I know.
She was telling me all the menu flavors and stuff. Mhm. So, all right, we heard your story of your
Brought me to
journey
LA?
here. Yeah.
I always dreamt of coming to LA. Like when I moved here, I'd never been here, and it was really like a one-way ticket. I'm gonna finally do it. But for me, it was like the epitome of a perfect city, like beaches, warm weather, opportunity, a busy city. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really think of a better city to move
And-
to. It
and
was
how-
between that and New York, Miami, and like
New York,
LA
Miami.
just wins.
Those are two good ones, too.
Yeah.
And how long do you anticipate? Are you here for the long haul?
Yeah, I need to go back. My visa's up. My papers are due. So yeah, I have to go back for a bit, but I'm gonna come back.
Oh, good for you.
When's your visa up?
I'm so sad.
I'm on my grace period right now.
I
I'm
hope
like,
they
I'm
make you
milking it
leave.
to the
I hope they
end.
make you leave. And when you go
Why?
back, be
No.
like, you should let Tehran in our country.
Let me know what you did. Let me know.
Yeah, this is
I was
a
gonna say who I
longer
would talk to,
story.
but I don't know who I would talk to.
Exactly.
About what you did.
I didn't even do anything in your country, which makes it even worse. Did
Did you get a DUI?
Never. I've never drank in my life.
Oh.
So let's play the either or game just to get a better grasp of who you are as people. Okay? So it goes either or. You have to choose one.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Apples or oranges?
Oranges.
Apples.
Ed Sheeran or Sam Smith?
Sam Smith for sure.
Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Jodeci or Boyz II Men?
Oh,
That's rough. I'm gonna say Boyz
Boyz
II
II
Men.
Men.
Yup. I can't fuck with either one of y'all. Please, I'm going to have my back turned the whole show. Please.
New York or Miami?
I've never been to Miami still. We need to go.
Yeah.
So
I
New
say
York.
Miami.
All right, there.
You pick somewhere you've never been?
No, I've been to
No,
Miami.
I've never
shit.
been.
I
So
was
I said
like,
New York.
wow, that's crazy. You just
That's what happens
were
when
like-
you turn your back. on
You
the
made him
conversation.
turn back
oh my
around.
God.
Yeah,
He
'cause
was in disbelief.
that said a lot about who you are. Okay. Would you rather someone show up late or someone stand you up?
Ooh.
Show up late.
Yeah, that's
I don't want to get stood
come on.
up.
At least do me the favor of showing up.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful. Well, both are, but yeah.
At this stage in your lives, short-term relationship or long-term relationship?
At this stage, it depends on the person. Because if I see the potential in you and we're on the same page, definitely long term. But if it's like we're both on the same page about where we stand and we want it short term, then short term. So, I feel like
So that seems like you didn't pick either or. Just to let you, we have
Or
one
open to
simple
are
both.
these rules
Depending
like
on the
strict, or
person.
can I
Simple.
be
They're
like?
strict.
simple.
I'm the good cop. Teron's a bad cop. He's strict.
Oh.
Oh,
Why did I get
I'm not
that
even
card?
bad
I'm feeling
cop.
so much heat.
I'm the real cop. Let's either
The
or. You
real
have
cop.
to pick one.
Okay. Okay. Based off of short term.
Okay, good answer. You want either or.
I mean, if I have to choose, I'm going to choose long term.
Okay,
Whoa.
I understand.
I know.
Would you rather send a screenshot of something embarrassing to the wrong person or like your ex's or their current partner's photo on IG
Screenshot.
while you're like accidentally like stalking them?
Screenshot. Can't do that.
How far back is the photo you like?
It's back.
Oh,
It's like a real photo. Like it's like yo,
Dude.
I'm in your shit.
It's like,
I'm in your
it's
shit.
like
but, or you
Instagram
screenshot
started.
the wrong message to somebody, like the blah 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 message, and it goes to somebody.
screenshot.
Sheesh.
Yeah, you can't
That's
come
a
back
tough
from
one.
the IG. It is tough,
and it's
though.
public.
Oh.
The screenshots
Yeah,
between
when
you
people
and one
see that
person,
you like
the
it, they're
embarrassing
like,
level
"Whoa."
is like one-on-one.
So now we're getting heated with Tehran's shift of the drift. So I'm going to ask something crazy. Would you rather show someone you just started dating your internet porn history or the photos you've gathered while you were in the act with other partners?
Yeah, that took a real that was a turn. I didn't. Let's not. No, I didn't. Oh, I didn't take that turn. That's not the. I didn't go. I didn't even put my blinker on for this one. That's not. This isn't me.
You're second guessing the turn now. You're like, what's that a good turn?
Yeah.
Should I stop?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I know my answer for some reason.
Okay. So what's your answer though?
Maybe I shouldn't stop.
We still want to know.
I'd rather show my history with other people. I don't want to show my porn history.
Your history in the act with other people?
I think so.
Wow.
Because it's a
Porn
representation of me. I'd rather you know representation of me than know like my secret fantasies.
Well, what if you looked up a porn thing as a joke? Like,
Nah,
It's still in your history.
It's not a joke.
And that was a curious. You know,
I have a thing where I
you
looked
know,
up with a
Tess,
friend,
some
like,
jokes start as
Nobody-
curiosities.
True.
And that sounded like a curiosity
Nobody-
to me, sister.
It was an itch.
No, it was just like interesting and funny. Like,
Nobody
What was it? Now you gotta
accidentally
tell us
looks
what
up.
it
Listen,
was.
unless it's like, something really random, nobody accidentally. There's times where you look stuff up, you're curious, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I watched this, or oh my God, I can't believe I watched this and liked it.
Yeah.
okay.
It's kind of like
They're both in your
when you
real.
see a video, right, and it's about a shooting, and then you actually want to see the action of getting shot, and then it's like you're not proud that you viewed it. You won't publicize it on your wall, but you looked at the video. You were curious to see what happened.
I'm not. No, that's not the
Yeah,
turn.
no,
I
I'm not
wasn't
in the
going.
boat. I'm
There
not
was
in
no
that boat.
shooting, and I just want to say respect to all the survivors of the shootings recently. There's been so many in the news thus far, and it's something where it's on our hearts and our minds and our prayers and everything else I'm supposed to say.
March for our lives.
And we're just gonna get the imperfect gentleman out of the way this week. The imperfect gentleman of the week are all those brave high school students who marched and stood up for their safety and their voice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yup. They cut
Amazing.
class. You know what I'm saying, nigga? I would have cut class for the KKK when I was in high school. Like you could have been like, yo, there's a KKK march. I'm in there. Like respect. Like, but they did it with the purpose, which was popping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Have you guys ever done something of that nature?
Like a protest? Well, I did the women's in DC.
Yeah.
March in DC.
So you flew?
What does that mean?
You flew to DC for the
No,
women's
I was
march?
still in school. I remember that there was a march going on when I
Oh,
was
there was a
still in
different
school.
march
Yeah,
because the
yeah,
most
not the big
yeah.
one, because there was one in LA too that
I got
drove
you.
past, but yeah, it's fully supported though. But,
Yeah.
What?
Here's my thing about the women's march, right? And I'm going to tell you what my problem with the women's march is. My problem with the women's march comes down to one thing. White women. Now, let me explain where I'm going. Yeah, I said it. Yo, huh? Yeah, I said it. Like, don't march only when it starts to affect you. Other people been marching for a long time for the same stuff, but until it affected you, you didn't care. Don't forget, white women elected Trump. Like, that's who elected Trump.
Yeah, I know. Black people elected Trump too. I don't
Nah.
think that there is.
No. What black people besides Dr. Ben Carson?
No, you can see in the
Wait,
pictures.
did you vote?
Hell no.
So this is the issue. I don't think that
Yeah.
it was white people or black. I think that
Hold
lot
on.
of people
That's not true. That's actually not a
didn't
factor.
vote because they weren't educated on how bad it was really going to
No,
be.
that's not actually the case. The case is voting and going into Canada are things that I'm not specifically allowed to do at given times. So it's not that I did or did not vote. The concept is I also live in a city which is Democratic no matter what. And because of the Electoral College, this state would go one way regardless of how most people voted. Now, because there's an overwhelming number, that goes for most states. Swing states, that's a concept and that's a conversation you can have.
Right.
However, it's also a coincidence that swing states also have a low residency of black and minority population. So that is interesting. And also, let's not forgo the concept of gerrymandering that happens in Pennsylvania in a recent court case just allowed it to happen. So
We also hear about certain candidates having their names left off the ballots. Now, I don't know the validity of that, but I was hearing a lot of that in this past election. So voting is such a complex
that really
thing.
happened to Bernie, actually. That
Yeah,
just
I
really
think
happened
Bernie
to Bernie.
got burned.
Like, Hillary burned Bernie, my dude. Like, nobody's talking about that. But they, like, found out all this stuff, and they just really just were like, oh, yo, Russia.
And Bernie was like complaining. I like how I say his name, Bernie. I just feel like I need to put an extra oomph into it. But Bernie was like, yo, my name wasn't anywhere. They're like, yeah, okay, sit down, old man. They just like dismissed the dude.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
He jumped on the bandwagon quick. Like, you guys keep up with the stuff. And that's what I actually appreciate, because you did go to Georgetown, correct? Mm-hmm. And then where'd you go to school?
Montreal.
Which school?
Concordia.
Concordia, that's a good school.
Oh, you've heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I leave out information because
Concordia. I mean, it's no McGill University.
Right, so you know about McGill.
Oh, you actually know. I thought there was a joke
for someone who's never been there.
I thought there was a joke coming up.
I've never said I've never been there. I just said I'm currently not allowed in the country of Canada.
Never been there. Okay.
Where are you from? You never.
I'm from DC.
Oh, okay. And your background?
Ethnically?
Yeah.
My father's Persian and my
Okay.
mom's black.
Okay. And you speak Farsi.
I do.
Very nice.
That's such a cool mix. I've never met someone who's.
I agree.
It is
if I must say.
It is a cool mix, but what I don't like about his mix is that everybody now is saying that they're pushing his
All
mix.
of a sudden, everybody's black and Persian and black and mixed and Persian.
He's been doing it. He's been black and Persian since day one, and now because my brother has owned it, now everyone wants to own it.
No.
What do you think they're owning being mixed or
people
what?
can't help.
They don't publicize
No,
it.
it wasn't popping until I made it popping. And
He made it pop.
all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, now I'm special because I'm this mix and I'm doing this." Whatever it is.
They weren't shooting with him in the gym. He was only black and Persian on the all-black basketball
I think
court.
that's like mixed in general. Like it's becoming more common.
No.
Yeah.
Mixed has always been a thing, right? So then there are people who are like,
really.
I'm mixed. Yeah, there are people who've been like, I'm mixed. But specifically being half Persian, half something.
Yeah, that's specific though.
Was something that people were not claiming.
Because in the U.S. protocol, like if you have that Middle Eastern, like if I were you, I'd be Italian. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just an easier conversation with new people, you know, than explaining the Middle East.
But what were you
It
claiming?
becomes
Were you
overwhelming.
claiming being Persian or claiming being black?
Black and Persian. Like
You
I was
okay.
day one black. I was screaming it from day one.
He even
like,
has a song.
as a
My favorite,
kid.
one of my favorite. You know, you have your best artist of all time, favorite artist. I shared my best artist last show. One of my favorite artists who, if he puts out music, I will always buy is Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa had the Black and Yellow song, and Tehran made a record called Black and Persian. Back in he was repping it at the parties and stuff. So,
I was like, we're gonna go hard.
yeah. So the message is, everybody, own who you are. Don't wait till somebody else makes it cool, because it already is cool, because you are you. This is Mr. GK, and these are my words of the week. Thank you very much. Those just came to me
How do you know
spontaneously.
people are repping it now? Like
Because
through conversation,
You're like,
through
because it
social
comes
media,
up. No.
yeah. Let me tell you something real quick, right? So she mentioned she does social media marketing and stuff. I do that stuff too. The Black and Persian hashtag was
that's a hashtag.
It was non-existent. This blursion, Black and Persian, however they want to mix it,
cool.
Persian and black.
It's so new. It's the first time I've heard of it.
I could go back to 2007. 2007, I have tweets from Tehran, Black and Persian, and nobody was retweeting. Nobody was making the hashtag hot. You know, once he made it cool, now everybody, you know.
Isn't that flattering though? You like put it on the map, and everyone like wants to be like you now.
It's
It's called
flattering.
cultural appropriation. You know, that's flattering as
But
well.
no, it's cool, but it's also a swagger jacker thing. So a lot of people in the entertainment industry now are trying to leverage being half Persian into what they do. Because
And
they
I don't
see
mean
it
Yara
as an
Shahidi,
avenue.
by the way, because Yara's doing it in
She
the
did
right
it on
way,
her own.
and she also gives me props, and I always respect. And she's doing it way better than I ever could, right? But there's a lot of people who didn't grow up specifically speaking Farsi, for example, and then they're doing it now. But we didn't even know they were half Persian their entire lives, and we knew them their entire lives.
Oh, so
like all of a sudden
Like
now
now
they're
you
like
say it.
Persian. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
okay.
like I respect the person who makes the first bold step in society and stands up when it isn't cool to just stand up for something or without a benefit. You know, and there's so many revolutionaries and we don't even know their names. They tried, but because some people attached onto brands and movements, you know, so there are a lot of brave people. Those always, I'm not taking away from the people who are popularized, but the people who take the first step, that means that much more to me. You took
but
a
there's
mile.
a reason why people are taking the first step so that you could be a leader and people could follow.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, no,
So you can't hate on the followers.
You can't hate.
There's a difference between
That's a
following
good point.
and other people just acting like they invented it too.
I don't think they invented it, but you're making them feel comfortable and rep it.
The people who are following, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like when the rapper Lil Xan comes out and says Tupac sucks. Like, that's not for you to be able to say.
He said his music was boring.
Which, okay, that's equivalent of, I'm not the biggest Tupac fan, but I show so much respect to Tupac and what he does, and I understand.
No, Tupac was my
idolization.
dad growing up. I'm equally as offended, but I can't blame the kid for growing up to Migos and hearing they're very rhythmic and there's a lot going on and they're and then he heard Tupac.
Sure,
and
but
it
what
was,
if Little Xan said, I'm the new Tupac?
What's
What if
that?
Little Xan said, I'm the new Tupac?
Then I would have a problem.
That's how people are coming at me with the black and Persian. It's not enough that they're just saying, if they were just like, yo, I don't like Tehran, I get it. If they were saying, hey, I'm black and Persian as well, or I'm mixed Persian as well, I would get it. But they're like, yo, I started this.
Right. But then there's the other thing, like, if you, let's say like a leader, if you really want to be a leader, could you be okay with not getting the credit? Like,
No,
is
nigga,
it
I'm not trying
about?
to be a leader. I'm trying to be popping myself.
Exactly. You're not trying to make a movement.
Tehran in this bitch. I'm Tehran. Fuck your jacking Von Gossry. Like, I'm me. I
I know,
understand.
I'm like, okay.
You thought I was a better person than I was. I apologize. That's, you know what?
I'm like, you're
That's my
creating a
fault.
movement. You don't
That's
need
my
the credit.
fault.
Like, it's
Yeah.
still good on
That's
you.
my
but,
fault. It's my bad. So, but let's go back to you guys. So, because you guys come from two different cities, one with small population and one which is actually like a different culture in many ways. How is dating? Like, how is dating in that
Horrible.
systematic?
Systematic.
It is systematic.
Yeah, Silver. Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, what was it like? We'll start with Tess. I assume he meant systematic when he was speaking about the smaller town, Laverne. Is that what he meant?
So dating in high school?
I suppose. Yeah, you know, that was an unfair
very
question.
different-
You know what?
very
There's an
different
affidavit here.
Laverne and DC are
So it was an
LA,
it was
it's very
an unfair question because she was only in high school when she lived there.
Did you date anyone in high school?
Oh gosh, me in high school, yeah, I was all about the books and just focusing, so I didn't really, occupy
That's
my
how
time
you got
with
into
guys.
good school.
So yeah, it's kind of, I have like crushes and stuff, but it's not enough to talk about right now.
How come the guys in high school would say, "Oh, she's nerdy"? Like now, the hottest thing to me is like a book nerd.
Yeah, because it's super bad,
Well,
bro.
because you
Oh,
get,
yeah,
you
super
get
bad.
mature. I feel like,
Michael Cera,
yeah, it's just like, it's a way of growing up.
Napoleon
Like,
Dynamite.
I don't think they made being nerds sexy, though.
They made it cool though. It made it like.
Hold
it's
on,
cool.
did you
It's
see
actually
Napoleon's dance? That was a sexy dance.
was-
I wish I could do those moves.
Yeah, those moves.
Those moves.
Yo,
are
it was
popping.
cool to be a nerd. Like there was a time where it wasn't cool, but then I'm gonna tell you what happened. The transition is it went from Pretty in Pink and that whole Rat Pack crew, right? The Brat Pack, going into the Cruel Intentions crew. That's what it was to be like hip. And then it went into super bad and nerdy stuff and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and all that. And it was like, oh, okay, being a nerd is cool. I'm 35,
Yeah.
but I still like comic books. That didn't happen. Like at 35, 30 years ago, it's like, I like comic books because I own a comic book store because I have 2 mortgages, 3 kids in college. And that's the only reason a grown man would like comic books. And now it's just like Black Panther's #1 movie.
True.
So that's why I'm asking, like, so you went to high school, but you were in Montreal. In Montreal, you deal with a lot of these French Canadians.
Yeah.
How was that?
I started dating young. So
You look like it,
How do you look like?
Yo, that's a real thing. You look like I already
I look
knew.
like I started young.
Yeah.
How do you look
no.
like that? How do
I
you
don't
look
get
like
that.
that?
How do you
bro?
look like
Well, it's
that?
just a look.
Oh my god, it's a look. That's not good. I don't think that's a good thing.
It's a
Do I look
vibe.
like a smoker too? Like,
Oh my gosh!
Like, you know,
Like you've had your
Like, yeah.
experience. Like, what does that mean?
like you were, you started young. So go on.
well,
What
I
happened?
did. Yeah, I started young. Like my first relationship, long-term relationship, I love you and all that was like 5th grade. It lasted from 5th to 7th grade.
That's what's up.
Wait, yeah, I remember this.
So yeah, I dated young.
Oh,
but
you
then
went to-
Hold on, but
I
did you
kinda
get hit in 5th to 7th grade?
What do you mean?
I mean, how much love was there? Was there love like, or was there love like,
Oh,
or was
no,
there love
just
like,
kissing and hugging.
oh, okay, I'm just asking.
And
Just
like
trying to
love
figure it out.
letters.
Aww.
Yeah.
I love love letters.
So cute.
I have every love letter I've ever gotten in a box. Like even my friends, anybody who's written me a letter, I kept them.
That's so sweet. That's like the sweetest.
Isn't that a
It is
little?
cute.
My interpretation is that it's vain. Like, look at all these guys who wrote me all these letters. Look at me.
Maybe at the time when I did it was
See?
That's so
Proving
funny. You
to
thought it was
myself.
vain. I thought it was baggage. Like, yo, she could never let past go, bro.
Well, it's in like my mom's basement tucked away. It's not like I brought them to LA with me.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
but
are
still.
made up of your experiences, so you just want to like keep. It's like keeping a diary.
Sure, but that's why we have memories, and that's also why we forget.
I mean, no, but they were obviously positive. Your first love. I mean, it doesn't mean you're still in love with them or that you carry baggage, but you're just keeping that with you. It's a part of you.
See, and
I was
that's
like
a real
10.
girl way to think. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because if a guy dates you, and doesn't matter, that same guy that dated you in 5th grade,
Yeah.
in his mind to this day, he can hit. Like he's like, yo, he can still
Oh,
hit.
so if she like called him,
Yo,
tomorrow,
he'd be
was
like, yo,
hey,
of
haven't heard
course,
from
I
you.
got it. Because that's how guys feel.
That is a big mistake that guys make,
Yeah.
though. Like, if you don't take full advantage of your opportunity while you're in that window, once it's closed, it's probably never opening again. And guys, like, try to come back a year later, and I'm like, to the degree that window has been closed.
Yeah, the progress
I'm
you've
out of the
made in the
mindset.
year, yeah, like the growth you've had in that year could be substantial enough where you're like, I don't even.
don't
I mean,
even
we're not
connect
even on the
anymore.
same page. Like what we had at first is gone because it's been a year.
Let me speak on this. There is no worse pain as a man to try and voyage back to a previous journey and to be shut down and just to be able to do nothing about it. It's the most
It is
helpless,
sad.
weak, sad position I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It hurts us, ladies. It hurts us. What do we have to do to win you back? Is it just over
Well,
eternally?
why'd you leave in the first place? though? That's
Well, okay, let's
We
say
hold it against you.
let's say
like you didn't want.
Yeah.
okay, let's
You
say
want it
it's
then, you're not getting it now.
You lost.
but let's say it's for a reason beyond like what we would usually society would allude to as the unforgivables, such as cheating or flirting with your mom, stuff like that. What if it's just like at the time I wasn't ready to settle, at the time I didn't give you enough attention, and now this new guy gives you all the attention, you're all over his IG. I mean, what can we do as men? And I think every man listening
I have an idea.
has this question. Yes.
I think if you want to do that, you have to like approach it being upfront about that right from the beginning. Like literally the first or second text you say needs to be communicating that, being forward. Otherwise, we're
Acknowledging.
not, yeah.
We need to acknowledge our mistake.
Yeah. And talk about like where
Oh.
your head's at right now, right off the bat. Cause like if it's already done, I don't want to go through this cycle of like casually dating again. And then it's like still a disappointment.
You're
Like,
dropping
I think
gems.
I think the biggest thing too is communication, like, and not understanding each other. So if you are trying to make that big of a move, like you need to
Right out the gate.
Yeah, you have to be honest right off the bat. Like come to it clean. Like
don't do me hate. Don't send me
yeah, like the
selfies.
games.
It's not
Like
So
gonna work.
the hey big head text doesn't work?
No.
You know
Stupid
what?
world star.
I disagree. Hey,
know,
big
they're
head
lying
works.
to you.
Hey, big head works. And I'm going to tell
So
you
your
why.
girls still like you then?
No, I'm just saying this. Hey, big head works. And I'll tell you why. Because if it didn't, then guys wouldn't be doing it. And I'll express why. Like, when guys are driving, I've always wondered, how come when a guy's driving down the street and sees a hot girl, he honks? Like, what has ever happened? One time in the history of man, one girl got and it was like, oh shit, nice honk. And then got in, fuck that guy. And from then on, men everywhere, they shared the secret.
Must be.
How,
is.
though?
Yeah.
I just have bad luck. The one time I honked was because
You
I honked.
honked? You
The
tried
lady
it.
dropped her phone out of her purse.
oh, okay. That's
I honked to let her know, and she cursed me out and flicked me off.
okay.
Why does that happen to me?
Yeah, the best part was
That's adorable.
honk, told her
trying to be nice.
dropped the phone. She cursed him out, and then I was like, "Ew, by the way, you dropped your phone," and got the number.
He got the number.
And then was like,
He got the
and then was
number.
like, as we left, I was like, "He's like, what are you doing?" I'm like, deleting her number. I'm never gonna call this. She just gave me her number off the
So
street.
if it's
Who
too
is this?
easy, you don't
Wait,
want
did
it.
No,
you-
it's not even that.
Okay.
I'm very
I,
particular.
and
How'd
no,
that even
I
happen?
accused him of being an opportunist until he proved he wasn't, and he deleted the number.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
he was just there.
sticking with your friend.
No, I was being an opportunist, but I just don't need to take up opportunity. Like I'm an opportunist. But I'm not a bad opportunist. I'm a good opportunist.
So
I need the details on that.
yeah. So what does
The
that mean?
details of good opportunism is that when something benefits me, it doesn't have to hurt other people around me. It also benefits them. So what's good for me is good for everyone else. It could be great for me, but it's still good for everyone else.
I told you you're a good person.
What's worse is when people do something that's like good for them, but actually is adversely bad for everyone else. And there are people that get ahead. And those are bad opportunists. The ones who see that something's going bad for someone else and instead cut them off and undermine them to get ahead. Yeah. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, you can be a good person.
You can benefit everyone at all times.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the motto of the Imperfect Gentleman.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the new way of business, too.
That's actually the motto when I say Imperfect Gentleman is when you say it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It's the exact same ideological perspective, actually.
Ain't no fun. You're going to have to rewind that a little. I thought that there is no such thing as a perfect gentleman, so why not try and be imperfect gentlemen? Strive for excellence while accepting our flaws and trying to improve on them. Where did this whole ain't no fun if the homeboys can't get none?
It's about good opportunism.
Good. Okay.
So you missed the whole thing. Just be like, "Hey, Tehran, I missed what you just said." Just say that.
No, I heard the part. I heard the part about
the concept is
do something if it benefits others.
So
I heard
it ain't
that.
no fun if the homies can't have none. Like, it's not just good if I'm getting it. I need all my boys to hook up too. Like, everybody's getting it, no matter what it is.
But sometimes,
but not with women.
So it's like entourage, like you're supporting your crew.
Yeah, it's money. It could be anything. It could
but what if you and the homies are having fun, but someone has to lose sometimes?
Nah. Or they're not the homies. I don't care if you're not the homie, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Captain Save a Hoe and the hoe is the rest of the world. I'm just saying my team is
you
supreme.
Put your team first.
But does that mean that people are then mooching off of you and not like
because
putting
they're
in
also,
their fair share?
They're putting in everyone has to play a part on the team. You
Yeah.
can't just be dead weight.
Like, you know what? I was watching like a lot of these celebrities.
You can't not know how to edit. You know what I'm saying? If you need to know how to edit.
Subliminal. I was watching a lot of these celebrities on tour and stuff, and what happens is a lot of the time their road manager is usually their friend growing up with. I love the Ball family. I'm obsessed with Lonzo Ball and that show. I like it. I watch it on Facebook. So his friend growing up is now the manager, right? And the father, LeVar, allocates all this stuff to the friend. And a lot of people from the outside would interpret it as, oh, he's using him for the money and fame. But the way I see it is, if you are now on this platform, why not put on someone you could trust?
Yeah.
Why not, as Tehran was saying, ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. If they're capable of doing the job, why go to a stranger?
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can already trust your friends too. I feel like we tend to if you are driven and ambitious yourself, like you tend to surround yourself with people who are also ambitious. You can trust them. I mean, we talk about new business opportunities all the time. I feel like you can feed off of that energy and go on that journey together.
Definitely.
Awesome.
But the sad part is society's like so quick to judge. They don't see what you were just talking about or what I was just talking about. Society will say, oh, you're using her because you're using him because, and sometimes you just got to learn how to ignore people.
Ignore the comments.
Yeah.
Stay off social media comments.
Yeah.
That's really, like, it's not a real representation of reality, like what people are saying online. And all that negativity. Like,
I think
it's
it is.
not even real.
I actually disagree. I think it is. I think
Really?
it's what people really think, but they never say. So the anonymity online allows them to do it. So they're like, oh, I feel like most people are haters and most people are trolls. And they just don't have the platform because no one likes to get punched in the face. And you can't get punched in the face online.
But the anonymity makes makes it easier for you to just hate and bully. It's like driving your car. Like, you feel autonomous, so you can speed and cut someone off and be a jerk, but you're not like that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's who they are. No, that is real life. Because you're doing it without guilt, then you're showing who you really are. It's like when you know people, who they are when they're drunk, that's who they really are. They're putting on, that's the concept of the persona. Persona means mask for that reason.
Okay, but people who are actually spending I think it's people who are trolls, people who are spending their time doing that are the ones that you're going to see because they're the only ones actually doing that. So if you look in that space, it's all negativity because the only people who actually waste their time doing that shit are people who are negative and have nothing better to do.
Insecurities too.
The positive people are busy working, doing shit.
Yeah.
And like what they really like are inside. Like, they're hurting. Sure. Like, obviously you feel the need to hate on people and comment, and it's like has nothing to do with you. That comes from your own issues. So they're not in tune with who they're.
Would you say most of the world is insecure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's different than what you said than what I said? I just said it blank. Like, I said it point blank, and you're saying it like in a nice way about
insecure
feelings.
doesn't have to be negative. I'm insecure about things.
Sure.
I'm not going to spew
but
hate.
It comes from insecurity, and these people are insecure, and this is what they do.
Yeah.
So the guy, Foxface 123 online is really just Charlie who's working at Rite Aid, but he goes home and he puts his time into this. And that's what he's thinking about all day long. It's the same way that I'll tell you what happened when President Obama was president. All of a sudden you would think racism is over. And then as soon as it pushed back and you saw a little bit of light, all of a sudden your same neighbor who was like, hey, Shaheem, how are you? How's the family? Put a Confederate flag up like, hey, Shaheem, go back to your country. Like, it was the same guy. He just had the opportunity because now it became okay. People do a lot of things when they feel that it's okay, as if they're not going to get judged and or they won't feel guilty and or most importantly, there will be no repercussions for their actions, which is why we have laws, because if there weren't laws, there would be the purge on an everyday basis.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to lean, for once, I'm going to lean more towards Tehran's side of the argument. And what I'll say is the greatest level of hate sometimes come from the people who are closest to you, posing as your friends. And when they have an opportunity behind your back or behind a fake screen name, they're going to hate on you. I found out one of my friends, right? I had this Drake parody that went viral. And one of my own friends, and I did my research because I know a few people who know some people who know some people, found out that the person who was leaving these comments and hitting the unlike button on my channel too was a friend of mine who just couldn't stand the fact that I was doing something that he aspired to do. And his way of dealing with it was to hate on me.
Bro, I told you I accidentally hit unlike, bro.
Tehran, I forgive you. The same way God forgives.
One video.
The same way God forgives, I forgive, Tehran. I forgive you.
I just say, sheesh.
I love you.
Sheesh.
Love.
Get over that, bro.
Love.
It was one video. It was like an old video.
It hurt me. It hurt me.
I didn't even know you were in it like that.
It hurt me.
Yo, but real. Okay, so going to some news stories of the day. Chris Brown and Lil Dicky have a song out, right? Freaky Friday, which is actually a very fun song. The video's popping. Here's the thing. Lil Dicky goes into the body of Chris Brown. Chris Brown goes into the body of Lil Dicky, and that's the concept of video. In this video, Chris Brown says the word nigga because now that Lil Dicky's black, he feels like he can say the word nigga. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are outraged about that. And then Chris Brown makes a lot of claims in it. Did you guys see the video?
Yeah.
I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
We talked about it a little bit.
I mean, it didn't bother me at all. I thought it was really creative, like most Lil Dicky songs.
Yeah, I love his videos. I think they're so funny.
He's been a topic of conversation lately.
Yeah, because you had found out about the video. I watched the video, and I told you to watch his other one, Pillow Talk, which is also really funny.
They're really good.
Yeah.
So asking on
I personally have thoughts because I didn't see it. So
my take on him saying the N-word.
Do you not say the N-word? Is that what it is?
I get this. This is really hard for me too.
You're too
because
light-skinned.
I get. I've been told that I've gotten because if I'm singing a song or rapping a song and it will come out, like I feel like I can. I'm proud to be half black, but I also get hate, which is kind of annoying. I mean.
It's
I am half black like
I feel
you.
like it's but it's the swag you carry plus is a little thing. Like
so I have no swag.
Swag alert.
You don't have nigga swag. You know what I'm saying? You have I read books all high school swag. So,
hey, there's nothing wrong with that swag.
like
GK likes that swag.
I can bring a new tone to
but
it.
I'm just saying but GK also doesn't say the N-word like that. So you just don't, even though I feel like he would be able to, because I know some straight out white kids in the hood who just be saying it, and they'll say it because they're from where they're from and have done the things they've done, and that's where they've just gone up.
I just want to clarify something. In the recording, was it Chris Brown's voice?
It was Chris Brown saying it. It was Chris
still
Brown
his voice.
It was so good.
So
you have to watch it.
I don't understand why they're
because people are like, so if Lil Dicky became black, this is the first thing he would do, because it's like one of the first things he does.
I mean, it's not serious. It's just funny. Like, I feel like people
need to lighten up. And also, Chris Brown made like a really funny face when he said it.
Yeah.
So,
you know what else started out being funny though? Slavery. And here's the thing: slippery slope.
What was the funny part? What was the funny part about that?
Let's grab the blacks and take them.
Oh my god,
5,000 miles away and make them work for free. Ha ha ha! Right, John? That's right, Bill. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Bet you I can say the N-word now. No, I'm just saying, like, it's a slippery slope. But I thought it was creative myself, so I understand. I don't know.
I feel like people need to like you can find a way to be offended now and for anything.
Sure.
Like people are walking on eggshells trying not to. At the end of the day, comedy is comedy. It is about like that line. Like you can't offend. Just be. There is a line, but know that line. I don't think they crossed it though.
And he's also a fan of the culture. So, yeah, if he does get a second to be in a black body, maybe that would be the first thing he does. He's been a fan of the culture for so many years. He's like, yes, I'm in. I can use the lingo.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you mentioned sometimes maybe people take it too far. It's comedy or it's art. What about with Bruno Mars? Is he appropriating? Is Bruno Mars appropriating? I don't know if you saw some of the articles that are surfacing too.
Culture, black culture.
That he's appropriating black culture through being ethnically ambiguous. He is profiting off of doing black music and then doing other like pop music, and he's benefiting off being able to go to different audiences and different genres.
He's super talented. That's why. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are so sensitive. He's very talented, and if he can do it and get away with it and look good doing it, do it.
No, he's cultural appropriating. Right. And actually, just the other day, I saw him at a Taco Bell. It's like, nigga, you're not Mexican. You can only eat infused food, okay? It's got to be Chinese.
Taco Bell really Mexican food, though?
Infused food. It was sarcasm sold separately, apparently.
Okay.
Taco sold really separately. Mexican.
So
that's a fun term.
I mean, it's people just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, just because you're offensive doesn't mean you're right either. And we see a lot of that going on, especially when it comes to the political sphere of people being extremely offensive, saying, "Oh, but I'm just telling you how I think." And it's like,
I think people are being hypersensitized or more sensitive simply because there are more events happening nationally, especially within our country. We're seeing an influx of some hate crimes and hate speech happening to certain groups, and the effect of that has been people being hypersensitized, even when it's humor, because they don't want these things to happen again. And sometimes when something is under the guise of humor, it turns real and to something much worse. So I could see the argument for both sides. I do think that we can all acknowledge that, for better or for worse, people are being more aware recently. And in most cases, I think it's a very good thing. In some cases, it's like, come on, give me a break,
Is appropriation something really to focus your attention on, though? Like, this is going to be sensitive. I actually don't see what's so negative about it. Like, it's a celebration of different cultures, and I think that it, like, unites people. Why should we remain so secluded within our culture? Like, that's what creates this segregation.
That's a good point. You white? Okay, well, that's where that goes. All right, so that's where because it's not about, and this is what people don't understand. They do not understand what appropriation is. Appropriation isn't, we invented the fork and now you use forks. That's not what it means.
Okay.
It means when one culture is being, for example, punished, berated, or criminalized for doing something, and then the other culture does the exact same thing, and then all of a sudden they're celebrated or they take credit for it. They are appropriate. It's the black and burn thing.
But it's
right?
not the same people. The people celebrating black culture are not the people who started slavery.
No, no one who is alive now specifically started slavery.
This is what I'm saying.
However, they continue the systematic disenfranchisement of slavery by not creating situations where it's equality. So when you just say, well, I don't see color, true, but because of what has happened for the past 300 years, color has been seen, so you can't just stop seeing color now.
But you could celebrate
takes away. You can, but it's celebrating by giving the respect due to the people who deserve it and not saying, celebrate it and I'm the one profiting off it.
In Bruno's defense, this is me not defending him. I didn't see it myself, but I did see clips and articles where they were saying that Bruno did in fact give credit to the artists that inspired him.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, right? I know
Well, it's really easy to be like, Michael is my inspiration.
Well, there were more, I think. But
everybody can be inspired by Michael. Every singer, every dancer, every pedophile. Like, anyone can be inspired. My bad.
Is it appropriation to change your skin color?
Rachel Dolezal?
Oh, my
No, that's just crazy. So
crazy.
She's crazy. She's crazy.
She was
Yeah.
crazy. She was interesting.
But what about the reverse end? Like Michael Jackson allegedly, was it alleged or did he physically, was it a disease?
Going white, dog. He was going white.
Yeah,
he was so white that his kids came out white.
Is that, would you say that that's not appropriation because it's hard to identify a white struggle? Is that?
The concept is always that if white is default, then you can't appropriate from white culture. That's going to be the argument there. Just like reverse racism is not actual racism because it doesn't actually affect them. So it does affect if all white people decide black people are bad. But if all black people decide white people are bad, technically they're just still in power. So that's the concept of where that comes from. But I do want to get to the point of today. And of course, you guys, please comment and tell us what you guys think. So Katy Perry had a situation where there was a person who came on the show and she kissed him, and he was 20 years old, this cashier, I think his last name is Clays, and then he had never kissed a girl, and then Katy Perry right then reaches over and kisses him on the lips. And then he felt that, he didn't say anything about harass, but he was like, I was waiting for someone special and I'd never kissed anyone and things like that. And people are making a big deal and standing up for Katy Perry. How do you guys feel?
Standing up for Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I heard she got a lot of backlash.
Well, she
did get some.
And just to add extra detail, he first was asked to kiss her on
the cheek. Turned, right?
Kissed her on the cheek, and then she kind of turned in and pressured him into that.
I think it's wrong.
That is so wrong.
She's assuming because of who she is, she's doing him a favor.
And people were saying the backlash she was getting, they were like, if it was an older male judge with a young female contestant, it would be done for him. So I don't think it's fair, to support her at all. She was totally wrong in that. Totally wrong.
I mean, I understand why there is a double standard that comes to play like this. And it comes to play, is it wrong or right? That's one of the things where we as society need to make a decision. But I do know that if a high school teacher was smashing their female student, he's going to jail. And then if it's a male student smashing a hot female teacher, dad's giving them high fives all day. So it's also the way we interpret all these things in sexuality. And it goes to play with all this stuff.
I agree, and it's the implication behind it, right? So especially in the entertainment society, you had a structure of powerful, wealthy men who were taking advantage of their positions and leveraging it and forcing women into doing acts with them in order to get the job. So because you have that history there, I do think it would be more sensitive even to me as a viewer if it was a man sneaking the kiss from a lady. I would interpret it as worse because of the implication there. I'm not excusing it. Now, as a Me Too in this scenario, who it's happened to me where I've had teachers come on to me physically, friends' moms.
He was fucking your friend's mom, bro. Like, what do you mean? What do you think it came from?
So pressure you?
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, consent is consent. So if you, but also,
not
no,
underage.
But if you're underage too, you also don't have, you don't have enough the experiences. They can use their authority over you, which is
this nigga
not
George
okay.
seduced this nigga's mom, smacked her ass.
You seduced her.
Hey, Miss Johnson.
I was just myself.
How old are you?
16.
Yeah, it's too young. She's still in the wrong.
Yeah, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of cover-up.
It's not the first or last mom that George has seduced.
I decline to comment on Tehran's statement.
And you mentioned the mom thing before. Have you broken up with a girlfriend because you went after her mom? You said, if I didn't flirt, it's not like I flirted with your mom. The mom thing is a thing for you.
People actually listen to the show, George.
It's just a thing that happens in life sometimes.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Not normally. Like, a girl shouldn't have to be scared for you to meet her mom.
Yo, what's
like,
Tess? Your mom. What's your mom look like? We're not doing.
It's not for George.
You're not going to meet my mom.
Oh, you'd hit Tess's mom. All right, so I want to. We do have to talk about the subject, and that's, was it appropriate for what Katy Perry did? It is not. It is not, and there should be. We learned these little rules when we were kids, and I think we should probably keep up with them. One of the rules we learned was keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Like, you don't. But unfortunately, because of how things work, sometimes you get a hacky response by doing a hacky thing. So when you do something like that, you get a big response and you think that it's fine. But that doesn't mean it's okay. Katy Perry should have respected this man's wishes and known that he obviously felt some type of way. Now, if Katy Perry does want to kiss someone, I've never had to kiss Katy Perry. And, you know, I've been waiting for the special person too. So please force yourself on me. You know what I'm saying? But that's different.
But
I'm
that's
willing.
Consent,
it's
and
consent.
he was not okay. He felt weird after, which is
I can't remember if it was Alysa or you, Tess, who said that she felt like entitled in a way, like it's your honor to be able. Yeah.
Like
she built off that assumption, right?
Yeah.
And
like she's doing him a favor.
My heart kind of went out to the person who never got to feel like they're doing someone a favor.
That's so real.
Like it's real, right? And then another question I had: would it be more offensive if the person, this kid gays in this situation, was homosexual? Is it more? I also called into question that because I've been in experiences where, let's say it was an older lady, but it has happened with an older man too. And I felt more offended when it happened with the older man because I was like, yo, look, nothing crazy happened. He tried. All right.
Definitely something to think about. Definitely something. Where can people find you if they can?
I'm on Instagram at tess.trotter.
Instagram, Alysa.Scanzano. I'll probably
spell it out.
No, is it?
Yeah,
oh, it is. See,
underscore.
I'm not that active. Alysa, ALYSA_Scanzano.
No wonder your Tinder profile has nothing in it.
That's why. Well,
I don't even know my own handles.
Literally at I am Tehran all across the board. Please find me, Tehran Von Gossary, alongside
Mr. George Cory. Tehran, please spell my last name.
That's Khuri, and we are Imperfect Gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Remember, nobody's perfect.
But us.
We'll see you guys next week.